Welcome to a deep dive into a place where bold seafaring migrations, deep Polynesian roots, and a pretty dramatic volcanic landscape created something truly unique. New Zealand, Aotearoa. Today we're uncovering why scientists are saying its gene pool is as layered and special as the islands themselves. It's more than just genes. It's like a living, breathing historical record. Far from being just a simple settler colony, New Zealand's genetic story is this breathtaking saga of survival, ingenious navigation, unexpected fusions, and a really powerful cultural revival. And as we trace this journey, you'll uncover some genetic twists, as it were, that truly challenge how we define heritage itself. We're going to trace ancient voyages, explore some hidden heritage, delve into unique adaptations, and even unpack some pretty heated controversies around identity and science.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it? How genetics offers such a profound, almost living document of history and identity. Our mission today is really to decode what makes New Zealand's genetic landscape so extraordinary, what it means for the people who call it home, and, the exciting and sometimes challenging implications for the future of genetic research globally. Get ready to maybe have your understanding of ancestry reshaped a little.
Okay, let's unpack this incredible journey then, starting with the original people of Aotearoa, the Maori. Our sources suggest their story isn't just epic, but it's fundamentally imprinted right there in their DNA. So what specific genetic markers serve as these ancient passports? How do they trace those incredible transoceanic migrations?
It's a truly amazing chapter in human history. Historians confirm that the Maoris are descendants of these incredibly intrepid Austronesian seafarers, master navigators, really. Their journeys began way back, probably from Taiwan, moving sort of systematically through Southeast Asia and then into the vast expanse of Polynesia, eventually reaching New Zealand, which was the last major landmass settled by humans, around 1250 to 1300 AD. Just imagine the sheer courage, the ingenuity required for a voyage like that.
That's a journey spanning thousands of years and even more thousands of miles. How on earth do geneticists manage to trace such an extensive and ancient route with such precision?
Well, the clues are literally in their cells. Genetic studies show that Maori carry specific mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA lineages. Mitochondria, they're like the powerhouses of our cells, and their DNA is inherited almost exclusively from our mothers, which makes it a really powerful tool for tracing maternal lines back through generations. One specific marker, B4a1a1, is often called the Polynesian motif.
The Polynesian motif. Okay.
Yeah. And what's striking is that while this marker is found across the Pacific, it reaches peak frequencies, get this, over 90% in many Maori individuals.
90%. Wow, that's incredibly high.
It is, yeah. It's a very strong genetic signal for that lineage. This isn't just some abstract gene sequence. It's basically a profound genetic map. It allows researchers to pinpoint the likely migration path of these ancient voyagers. We're talking about a route spanning thousands of nautical miles, island hopping through these crucial hubs like Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, the Cook Islands. Before that final monumental arrival in New Zealand, think about it. These ancestors navigated by stars, currents, the flight of birds. And then centuries later, science comes along and essentially confirms their incredible feats through the DNA of their descendants. It's like a powerful echo of their original journey written in their biology.
So that's the beginning of the story, a real testament to human exploration, isn't it? But New Zealand's genetic narrative didn't just stop there. Today, its population is this vibrant, incredibly complex blend reflecting centuries of interaction.
Indeed. What we see now is a profoundly mixed population, you could say a rich tapestry, woven from Polynesian, European, mainly British settlers, of course, and later Asian and other Pacific Islander lineages. However, it's really crucial to acknowledge that this genetic mixture didn't always happen equally or peacefully. The historical context is absolutely vital here.
Right. And this next chapter reveals a more challenging, maybe even controversial aspect of New Zealand's genetic history. Our sources highlight how early colonial records actually actively obscured Maori bloodlines. Can you elaborate on the impact of that historical omission?
This is where we hit one of those twists you mentioned earlier. Historically, and quite controversially, early colonial records frequently just omitted Maori ancestry in official registries. So mixed-race individuals, even if they had significant indigenous heritage, were often just categorized as European.
Just European.
Yeah. And this wasn't just some bureaucratic oversight. It seems to have been a more deliberate act. It effectively erased a huge part of the population's indigenous genetic and cultural identity, often, as a part of assimilation policies. The profound impact of this, well, it's only recently begun to be corrected, really, through modern genome mapping.
So what kind of numbers are we talking about? How big is this discrepancy?
Well, to give you a sense of the scale, a 2022 study found that about 17% of New Zealand's total population identifies as Maori or part Maori today. But here's the eye-opener, and it really speaks to that historical erasure. Over 25 to 30% of New Zealand-born individuals actually carry at least some Polynesian genetic ancestry.
30%, even if they don't identify as Maori.
Exactly, even if they don't consciously self-declare it or perhaps don't even know it.
So there's this vast, hidden heritage out there, a kind of silent genetic history beneath the surface of the official records. What does this huge discovery mean for people today? For their personal sense of self, and I guess for the nation's identity as a whole?
Well, this hidden heritage is really sparking a truly national conversation.
Yeah.
It's prompting a powerful reckoning with the past. We're seeing more and more people turning to commercial DNA testing. And not just out of, simple curiosity, but to actively reconnect with their ancestral Whakapapa. That's their deep, intricate genealogy that they or their families were once actively discouraged or even forced to forget.
Whakapapa.
Yeah. For many, it's a deeply emotional, really empowering reclamation of identity. It helps them piece together narratives and connections that were lost for generations. It's reshaping individual lives and, I think, collectively, the nation's understanding of its own very complex origins.
Okay, so beyond these incredible journeys and these cultural shifts, the sheer isolation of the islands, that also led to some fascinating human adaptations, didn't it? Like the environment itself became this powerful sculptor of genetic traits.
It absolutely did. And this raises that important question about how populations, especially isolated ones, adapt to unique environmental pressures. Geneticists are actively studying how Maori and other Pacific Islanders might show signs of specific adaptations to island life, particularly in areas like skin pigmentation, salt metabolism, maybe even disease resistance. The research is ongoing, but the hypotheses are certainly compelling.
And our sources pointed to New Zealand's unusually intense environment, specifically that UV radiation. How has that unique pressure shaped the genetic adaptations we might see in Maori populations? And what are the health implications researchers are looking at?
It's a really crucial point. One area gaining significant scientific interest is melanin production and UV resistance. Because of the lingering effects of the ozone hole, New Zealand experiences some of the highest levels of UV radiation globally. It's quite extreme.
Right.
So researchers are actively exploring whether Maori populations whose ancestors lived in this high UV environment for centuries show sort of enhanced natural protection. And this isn't just academic curiosity. It's vital for understanding that delicate balance between natural UV protection and the risk of vitamin D deficiency. It's a complex interplay with direct health implications.
And what about other health aspects? I think you mentioned cardiometabolic genes.
Yes, also under the microscope are these cardiometabolic genes, which relate to heart health and metabolism. Unfortunately, Maori populations currently face significantly higher rates of type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. However, and this is absolutely crucial to understand, this isn't due to genetics alone. It's not some inherent flaw. It's a far more complex picture. It's a tragic blend, really, of inherited predispositions meeting modern challenges. We see the stark impact of, say, colonial food systems, which introduced highly processed diets, alongside the very real effects of what's called epigenetic trauma.
That's a powerful term, epigenetic trauma. For those of us less familiar, could you just quickly explain what that means and how it connects to these health disparities?
Of course. Epigenetic trauma. Well, it refers to how severe stress, environmental factors, and historical hardships like the dispossession and colonization Maori endured can literally change how your genes are expressed. It doesn't alter the underlying DNA sequence itself, but it changes how the genes function.
Okay.
And these changes can even potentially be passed down through generations, affecting how the body copes with stress, manages metabolism, or responds to diet. So it's a profound example of how societal history gets written into our biology, contributing to these health inequalities alongside, historical dispossession and lack of access to traditional, healthier food sources. That said, some researchers are identifying inherited genes that seem to affect fat storage efficiency.
Like the thrifty gene idea.
Sort of, yeah. Think about it. For ancestors undertaking incredibly long, arduous voyages, genes that allowed for efficient fat storage would have been a massive survival advantage, right? Helping them endure periods of scarcity. But with modern, more sedentary lifestyles and readily available high-calorie foods, these very same genes can unfortunately become a significant risk factor for conditions like obesity and type 2 diabetes. It's a compelling example of how genes adapted for one environment can become, well, a challenge in another.
So we've seen genetics as a map tracing these epic journeys, as a hidden history revealing forgotten lineages, and as a story of adaptation to a unique environment. But here's where it takes another unexpected turn. It's also become a source of pretty intense debate, particularly around identity and belonging.
Indeed, this area can get quite heated. It touches on very deep personal and cultural sensitivities. There's a growing and, quite powerful movement of Maori and Pacific Islander individuals using these commercial DNA tests to reclaim their Whakapapa. For them, it's often not just about a genetic percentage. It's really about reconnecting with a heritage that was actively suppressed or lost.
But our sources indicate this isn't without its challenges, is it? Especially within traditional Maori communities. What are some of those complexities?
You're right. While many embrace these discoveries, a significant number of tribal elders articulate a really crucial distinction. They argue that gene does not define iwi, or tribe.
Gene does not define iwi.
Exactly. For Maori, Whakapapa is far more than just biological lineage. It's a lang breathing connection to ancestors, to land, to community. They emphasize that true belonging to an iwi. Well, it must be earned through active cultural ties, deep community engagement, traditional knowledge, basically through living the culture, not simply through getting a result from a cheek swab. This highlights a really fundamental difference sometimes between biological ancestry and cultural identity.
That's a very powerful distinction, emphasizing the sort of holistic nature of identity. And it seems there are other dimensions to this debate, too, reaching even further into New Zealand society.
Absolutely. At the same time, we're seeing another fascinating dynamic emerge. Some New Zealanders of primarily European descent are discovering, through these DNA tests, that they carry Polynesian ancestry, sometimes from generations back, maybe the 1800s.
Right, that hidden heritage again.
Exactly. And this isn't just a personal revelation. It's sparking really important national debates about identity, about privilege, about cultural belonging for everyone involved. It asks profound questions about, who gets to claim Maori heritage, how that heritage is honored, and maybe the responsibilities that come with such a discovery in a post-colonial context.
So it's really complex.
It is. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows that New Zealand's genetic story isn't just biologically special. It's a socially and politically dynamic narrative. It's constantly evolving and challenging these entrenched perceptions of who belongs and how. It's like a living dialogue between science and tradition.
With all these complexities, all these sensitivities, how is New Zealand navigating the future of genetic research, especially when it involves Indigenous communities? It seems like a very delicate path to tread.
It is, and New Zealand is actually emerging as a global leader in Indigenous genomics ethics, which is really positive. They've pioneered crucial programs like Te Mata Aira and He Tangata Keitua. These are fundamentally shifting the paradigm by putting control of genetic research back into Maori hands. This is a monumental and frankly necessary change.
That sounds like a truly transformative shift, a huge shift in how scientific research is done. What does that specifically entail? What does putting control back mean in practice?
Well, it's about empowerment and protection, fundamentally. These initiatives emphasize data sovereignty,
Data sovereignty.
meaning Indigenous communities retain control over their own genetic information. They focus on proper consent, making sure research is conducted ethically, transparently. And, crucially, they're designed to protect sacred ancestry from potential exploitation. This means that future discoveries in the New Zealand genome won't just be made about Maori. The goal is they will be made with Maori for Maori. It's about building a partnership based on respect, mutual benefit, recognizing the unique historical context, and the inherent value of their genetic heritage.
And what kinds of discoveries are they already making with this new, more collaborative approach? Are unique insights emerging from the New Zealand genome?
Yes, already genome-wide association studies, these are the large-scale analyses scanning genomes for variations linked to traits or diseases conducted in New Zealand, have revealed over 20 unique loci.
Specific locations.
Specific genetic locations, exactly, tied to traits like kidney function, immune response, metabolic health. And what's really illuminating here is that these findings don't consistently appear in the large European-based datasets. It starkly highlights the unique genetic makeup of Maori and, honestly, the critical need for much more diverse research populations globally.
So these findings could have real-world impact.
Oh, monumental potential. They could shape highly tailored medicine specific to Maori health needs. They could significantly help reduce existing health inequalities and ultimately preserve a genetic heritage that truly is unlike any other on Earth. It's really a testament to the power of ethical, community-led research to unlock profound insights.
So what does this all mean for you listening? and for our broader understanding of the world. New Zealand's genetic story is truly special because it's this living document of the Pacific, a code written by navigators who read stars, by communities who adapted to intense environments, by warriors who survived colonization, and by people now reclaiming their power through both cutting-edge science and these deeply rooted cultural narratives. It's quite something.
And in that DNA, I think there's a powerful message for all of us. You don't have to be ancient to be ancestral. You just have to remember and try to understand the intricate threads that connect biology, history, and identity.
Which does raise an important question for all of us to consider, doesn't it? Can DNA testing truly help heal historical wounds and maybe foster a more inclusive identity? Or does it risk oversimplifying, maybe even rewriting, the nuanced tapestry of culture and belonging? How should we balance the scientific insights of genetics with the profound wisdom of traditional genealogy, of Whakapapa, and cultural knowledge in how we understand ourselves and our heritage? It's certainly a lot to mull over and definitely a deep dive worth continuing on your own.